Hello. Hey, Luxin. Oh, Essence is here already, period. Okay. I'm gonna let folks join. Hey, everybody. Oh my god, this is so cool. Hey, everyone. Happy First Gen Day. I'll give folks some time to come in, then I'll add Essence. How is everyone doing today? Hello. Okay. We'll get started in a few. We'll let folks come in. I'll add Essence, our guest of honor, in a few minutes. But happy First Gen Day, everyone. Happy First Gen Week. Okay. So before we get started, before we get into it, before we start talking about Essence's experience as a first generation college student, we're going to talk a little bit about imposter syndrome, and then we're going to get into some recommendations for colleges and institutions for these places to better support first generation students. And so we'll get into a little bit about that. But before we get into that, I would like to just let you all know a little bit of history about First Gen Day and First Gen Week. So starting in 2017, so about 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago, the Council for Education and Opportunity in Education, and the Center for First Generation Student Success partnered and launched the first inaugural First Generation College Day. And because that day was so successful back in 2017, they began to partner annually to celebrate First Generation college students. And so all around the country, they are charging institutions, corporations, K-8 schools, nonprofits to celebrate and honor not only the students that they serve, but their faculty, their staff, and their alumni. So not only are we celebrating our CV students, but we are also celebrating our CV alum, our staff, and all of those around the country who are first generation students. And so use the hashtag Celebrate First Gen Day, tag College Visions, but also tag at COE Talk and at First Gen Center. I believe it is in your first generation student post. Any stories that you wish to share, so that we can commemorate you on this special day and during this special week. All right, so we're gonna get into it. Essence is here. We're gonna get started. I'm so excited to meet her. So I think I seen her request. Hey,
Hi.
can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
How are you?
Good, and you?
I'm excited to meet you for the first time. I'm Lariana. I know you see my email, but I'm Mariana. I am the College Access Program Junior Cohort Coordinator. So I work directly with our juniors as you know, CV has traditionally served high school seniors, so this is our first year serving high school juniors. And so that's the capacity that I serve at in the organization. And I'm so excited that you're able to join us as we celebrate First Gen Day.
Thank you.
Yeah, so let's start with a bug-in. I know you're used to it. You already know the deal. So let's start with a bug-in. Let's bug in with our name. How we're feeling on like a scale from 1 to 10. What high school you went to, the college you go to now. And I was thinking about this earlier. It was a random thought, but like if you could inhabit any planet other than Earth, what would it be?
Okay.
I'll let
Okay.
you go.
So, again, my name is Essence Cannon. I went to Central High School, and I currently attend Rhode Island College. And a planet that I would inhabit on besides planet Earth is, it's kind of hard. Mars, I guess. I don't know the real reason, but I guess Mars.
Got you. Awesome. Or I'll let you bug out.
All right, bug out.
So bug in. My name is Lariana Jacobs. I am the CAP Junior Cohort Coordinator. I went to high school in Boston. That's where I'm from. I'm feeling good. I feel like a 10. If I could inhabit any planet besides Earth, let's go with Jupiter. Let's just go with Jupiter. Is that a planet, right? Child, I don't know. I was thinking about it earlier. I was like, this is a good question. Bug out. All right. Are you ready to get started?
Yes, I am.
Perfect. All right. So I'll ask my first question. And so, as you know, it's November, right? Deadlines are rolling in. A lot of our seniors are beginning to submit their applications. So, and you finished the college application process not too long ago. Can you tell us what going through that process was like as a first-gen college-bound student, and what, if any, were your family's expectations?
Going through that process, I can honestly say it was very stressful. Cause, like, especially being first gen, like, if it wasn't for CV, like, I honestly feel like I would have been lost up through most of the process because it was a lot to take in also while trying to do my schoolwork. So
Right.
if I didn't have the support that I did behind with my advisors, like, it was a lot to take in. And my family's expectations was like they was honestly very supportive. Like they honestly was like go wherever you like want to go, wherever you're happy. Like basically it was all up to me, the choice. Like I wasn't forced to go anywhere. So like that kind of took a lot of stress off my shoulders because I know some people experience that. But like yeah, overall, between CV and the support they gave me, they made the process a lot easier.
Oh, shout out CV. Who was your advisor?
It was Luxon and Kevin.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Me.
shout out Lexington. Shout out Kevin. He's not a CV anymore, but shout out them. Um, what is your major or your minor?
Medical imaging.
What is it? I'm sorry.
Medical imaging.
Okay, never heard of it. What is that?
Like the people that do like X-rays, ultrasound technicians,
Okay.
that field. But I mainly want to concentrate in the ultrasound part of it.
Okay. And how did you get into that? Is anyone in your family in the medical field or?
Yeah, medical field has kind of been in my family for a while, and I always knew I wanted to do the medical field, and medical imaging seemed the most interesting to me at this time.
That's awesome. I've never heard of it before, but you go. You gotta be that medical engineer. Okay. So think back to when you first stepped foot on campus to begin your undergraduate journey. What were you feeling, and what, if any, expectations did you have for your first semester?
I was feeling very overwhelmed. I remember as the school year was approaching, all I was thinking about was like, how am I gonna do this?
Yeah.
Like, it was just a lot to take in at one moment, and like I expected, like throughout high school, I maintained honor roll most of the time of my 4 years in high school, and I kind of still have that expectation for myself. And yes, college is very different. So like
Yeah.
let reality set in. But like I still push myself every day to continue to just keep going, do the best of my ability. And like I feel like I've met the expectation so far this semester. Like I just been trying my hardest, and because as I go, I'm still learning. So I just been
Yeah,
myself.
definitely. And aside from academics, how is college different from high school?
Um, it's like very like the independence is like
Mm,
different. Like in college, like it's literally up to you to get
yeah,
what you get done. Like in high school, you had your teacher chasing you or whatever, but in college,
yeah,
not that they don't care about what's going on in your personal life. It's just like whatever you have going on in your personal life, you kind of gotta keep moving forward since you're in college and just do what you have
yeah.
to. It's like,
Hmm. Exactly. No, yeah. A lot. I was, in my one-on-ones, and I always tell the students like it's different. Like
very,
and like you said, like it's not like the professors don't care, but it's like with freedom comes responsibility, and so
yeah,
you have to be you know your own advocate and kind of like maneuver those spaces accordingly. And so sometimes you think you have all the free time in the world, but it's like you take a nap, it's 4 hours later, you're like, man,
yeah.
did no homework.
That's exactly how I be feeling.
It's definitely a ton of responsibility. But do you live on campus or off campus?
No, I live at home.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. um all right. And so a follow up to that question was, now that you're halfway through the semester, have any of those expectations been met, or have they changed from when you first initially stepped foot on campus?
It kind of changed because I tell myself like get on a roll because that's what I'm used to. That's what I
Yeah,
did in school. And like not saying that college is like hard to the point where you can't get on a roll, but I feel like I don't know, it's just a different type of reality. Like it's not the same level of expectation. Like I mean, I still push myself to do my best I can. I still want myself to get on the honor roll and the dean's list.
right.
But sometimes like if I get the grade lower than I expected, I'm not gonna be mad at myself because I know I did the best that I did. So
Hmm.
that's just how it is. And
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things with being first gen, right? Like you're so down on yourself, because not only are you pursuing higher education for yourself, but also for, essentially your family. And I remember my first semester, I had gotten straight A's in high school. Like I was a straight A student, like 4.3 GPA. Like I only expected A's. And so when I didn't get that first semester of my freshman year, I was so down on myself. Like, and my GPA, mind you, wasn't bad. I think I got like all B's.
mm-hmm.
And my my scholarship advisor was like, no, this is good. Like you did a good job. And so it kind of just takes that reassurance that like you're in it, you're doing good, relax, calm down, you got it. Everything will be okay. And you just have to get used to that transition, because I thought I was like this amazing writer in high school. Like I did so well in humanities. And then I had like my first writing workshop class my freshman year, and I got a reality check. And so, but it was okay. Like it's a learning process, and from there I made the corrections needed, but sometimes you have to go through that.
Yeah, that's exactly how I'm feeling at the moment. It's like reality kind of hit me when I got to college. I was like, oh, like, because I was like, I used to get good grades in high school. Like, why can't I do it now? Not saying my grades are horrible, but like,
Right.
I kind of expected a little more of myself. So but
Mm-hmm.
now that I realize it, I'm like, all right, like, it's okay to get this sometimes. And now I know what to do from here on out. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. And do you typically utilize like on campus support, or what does that usually look like for your school?
Um, they gave us like they told us all about the resources that is available at our school. I personally haven't used them yet because I feel like I haven't just yet like needed it just yet. But
Mm-hmm.
now that I know that we have these different resources, I will utilize them in the future if needed.
Right. And can you speak to some of those resources on Rick's campus? I
Yes.
know you're still getting used to them, but if I don't mean to put you on the spot, but for our viewers.
Yes, you can.
Did I? Oh, I thought I messed something up. Um, so what are those resources on Rick's campus?
The resources that I've heard, like learned about so far was like this tutoring for math and writing, um, academic support. Everyone gets assigned an advisor. What else? I forgot, but I know there's plenty other
Mm-hmm.
resources available. Like because I take this class, it's called Rick 100, and they tell you about all the resources available. And she just named so many, I can't remember all of them, but I just know they're available to me.
Yeah. No, yeah, there are tons of resources on campuses, and it can be so overwhelming at first.
Yeah, it is. I was like,
Right. Especially as a first year student. You're like, okay, who do I turn to? I got this advisor, I got another advisor. Like but the most important thing to know is that they're there to support you.
mm-hmm.
Which is awesome. All right, let's get into our next question. Can you recall a distinct on-campus experience or interaction when you realized your positionality as a first-gen student?
So I have this class, it's a seminar class, and he was like, my professor, he was like just showing us the statistics of like first gen students and students who've had parents that went to college. Like he was just like showing us statistics and like informing us about stuff. And he had us, if he asked us if we wanted to, we could share our experience, like if he was first gen or not. And a majority of the students in my class, all of them had parents that went to college.
Mm,
When they were all sharing their stories and stuff, I was just sitting there. Like I didn't personally share out because I didn't want to at that moment. Because after hearing all of them say that, I was just like, wow, like I'm really a first gen student. Like not that I felt like an outcast, but like at that moment, I really felt like I stood out in that moment. So like I was just sitting there thinking like, wow, like the statistics can be really true sometimes. And I was just like, it just blew my mind that like I don't know. I feel like it made me want to like in a way like just work harder.
yeah.
Like it only wanted me to like push myself harder for like my that class and any future class in general. Like it was just one of those moments, like it just blew my mind. Like I
Yeah.
for that moment, like I couldn't believe it.
No, yeah, that's completely understandable.
Mhm.
Um, I've had a similar experience in like my sophomore year of college. And I was like one of one in the class. I was the only black woman. I was one of the only first gen students. And sometimes it does feel very much isolated.
Mhm.
Like I understand what you're saying in regards to like not wanting to say anything or like not wanting to put yourself out there or like be the focus of conversation or have all eyes on you or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
Um, and so, what do you think are kind of like the downfalls, if any, to like not speaking up or like not sharing your story?
Uh, I feel like the only downfall that can like be to that is like that like I don't know how to explain it. Like I can like that's a tough question. I don't know how to.
Not the red table talk. We getting into it. We getting into it. No, no, it is a tough question.
Mhm.
Hey T, it is a tough question because I think I would say one of the downfalls is like maybe there are other students who feel the same way as you. Maybe there was another first generation student in your class who didn't share out, but wanted to hear from someone other than their peer who had parents go to college. And
Mhm.
so that's what I was like getting at with the what are the potential downfall questions. But I think it is also on educators and professors to also recognize that not all of their students have parents or have had parents who have college degrees, and so how are they making that space inclusive?
Mm-hmm.
um so yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think that's what my professor was trying to get at, like making us more aware of things, like
Mm-hmm.
that, just making us more aware. So I think that was his point of trying to get at. But like at the same time, it kind of opened my eyes more to like, wow, like I was like a majority of my class had parents that went to college, and then I don't know about any because there was a few other students besides me who didn't share, so I don't know if they was or
Yeah.
not. But a majority that did raise their hand
Mm-hmm.
that went to college, so it was definitely an eye-opening experience.
Yeah, and it definitely shows you that there's a need for us in these spaces. Like, not to say that, like, there shouldn't be as many hands raised next time in regards to, parents who have college degrees, but there should definitely be more students, first generation students, um, who don't have those similar experiences in those spaces.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I love that. Okay, let's get to our next question. And so, to kind of like wrap up this portion on first gen identity and like your current college experiences, what does your first gen identity mean to you, and how does it intersect with your other identities?
My first gen identity means a lot to me because in the end it's only making me stronger as a person because personally every day comes with obstacles and challenges that I've never encountered from since I'm a first gen college student. So like I'm literally learning every day as I go and it's a new journey every day. So I feel like it's only making me stronger as a person and like it intersects with my identities by making those identities of myself even stronger because every
Mm,
day I'm learning something new. So just only making me stronger in the end. So I'm kind of grateful for that.
love that. That's beautiful. T says period. Go ahead, Essence. Yes. All right. So I wanted to also talk a little bit about imposter syndrome. And so it's common as first gen students to experience imposter syndrome. And so feelings of self doubt, despite how much you've been accomplished, and like this internalized fear of being deemed a fraud or fake or undeserving of your accomplishments, or even feelings of guilt. Um, so, how have you dealt with any of the two? Um, and if you have, how have you worked to kind of like combat these pervasive thoughts?
I feel like I've had encountered that. Like I've had moments where I felt like it's only the first semester and I already had some of these thoughts where I'm like, it's
Yeah.
for me, like, is this what I really want to do for the next 4 years? Like I've had them thoughts already. And sometimes I just have to tell myself like it's okay to feel that way, especially when you're like learning as you go. So I tell myself like it's okay, like you're learning, like just do the best that you can, and like I basically just tell myself positive thoughts that way I can keep moving forward and like kind of get those negative thoughts out of my head. Like I don't intentionally give myself them thoughts, but it just happens like
Yeah.
because it's tough sometimes. Like sometimes just be like, oh my god, like this is so hard, but like
Mhm.
you just gotta tell yourself like it's gonna be
Yeah.
okay. You gotta keep going forward.
Yeah, and can you lean on anyone on campus, whether that be professors or any other staff members or any friends that you have when you are going through or when you are experiencing these thoughts?
Yeah, I do have a few people like friends wise, and there's a couple of professors like that I've like learned. I mean, that I've built like a relationship with that I feel like I can trust and talk to. So
Mhm.
I feel like I can go to them as well.
Yeah. And how did you go about like building those relationships? I feel like it's hard to seek help in general because sometimes we may not know how to ask for help or what specific or know specifically what we need help in. So how did you go about building those relationships?
Well, in the beginning, I was very, very, very shy in class.
Mm-hmm.
So like I wasn't speaking. But as time went on, I was like, I gotta open up more, participate more in class, like so these professors can like learn who I am as a person too. And so like as time went on, I was just participating more in class, and like so that made me encounter with the professors more. And after class, sometimes I would talk to them. So that also made me feel a little more comfortable since I got to know them a little better. So like
Yeah.
how I went about it.
Can you also speak to the importance of attending office hours? Because similarly to you, I was so scared. Like I and I don't even know why, but like I was so nervous to speak to the professor. Like after class, like any class that I had freshman year, after class first semester, I would just dip. Like I would not talk to the professor at all. And you know, sophomore year, I when I got comfortable with specifically my major advisor, I started to routinely go to other professors outside of my advisor's office hours,
Mm-hmm.
because I just felt more comfortable having that relationship with someone who was of faculty. So can you like speak to the importance of attending office hours?
Yeah. So I just like you, I was very, very, very shy in the beginning. Like I was like, I don't want to like do this, like, but you gotta step out of your comfort zone sometimes.
Right.
I like, I mainly did it like the first time I did it was because I was having like a little difficulty with the material at the moment. So I'm like, the only way if I want to understand this or get better at it, I gotta like ask for help or ask questions. So like I stepped out of my comfort zone. I went to the office hours, and I can honestly say like office hours outside of the classroom hours is like that extra help that you can get that can actually help you succeed in the class. Because if you're just attending the class and like just doing what you gotta do for the class, I feel like it's
Right.
not the same. Like if you're also attending the office hours, because I feel like if you attend the office hours as well, you can excel more. Like I
Mm-hmm.
noticed the difference. Like I feel like I'm doing better now that since I started attending office hours, and I'm not just being the student and attending class only. Like I feel like,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. No, attending office hours is so
yes,
important. Like a lot of times it goes overlooked. But I think in addition to, receiving more information on the material, the professor also sees that you're trying.
yes,
And so they take that into consideration a lot. Um, so yes, I definitely got into the groove of attending office hours because before I was like, I'm not going to see this person. I don't even know them like that. But like I I got comfortable and was honestly got into the knack of self advocating because really nobody's gonna advocate for you like you can advocate for yourself. And so you
yes,
really have to, step outside of your comfort zone and, you know, really take control of your education ultimately. So I want to like step back a little bit because
mm-hmm.
how did you decide on Rick?
All right. So I eventually my first choice I really wanted to go to school in Boston.
Oh, period.
I wanted to go to the School of Massachusetts of Pharmacy and Health Sciences. Like that was my first choice. But like that school was very expensive. Like
Yeah.
very. So then I was like, whoa, like so then I looked at between that school and Rick, they were the only two that had um medical imaging programs, and the rest that I applied to was like something along those lines, but it wasn't really what I wanted. So it ended up being Rick because the it was a little bit cheaper of an option for me, and it had the program I wanted. So that's how I ended up there. But if it was really like if the price tag really didn't matter, I
Yeah.
Boston.
Yeah. So I'm getting more into match versus fit with my juniors and talking a little bit more into like being intentional and rational and realistic. And you kind of already touched upon it on like that price tag. And so can you talk a little bit to kind of like almost like the sacrifices that you had to make or um, kind of like the reality checks that you had to give yourself in applying to schools?
Yeah, when I was applying to schools, like I knew college was expensive. I knew it was, but like when I started applying and like seeing the price per year, and then if you lived on campus, how much more it was, I was just like, wow, like this is crazy. And like a majority of the schools that I applied to were really expensive, and I had to like, not only did I like eliminate them off my list because they didn't have what I wanted, but like the price tag wasn't what I wanted either.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just, yeah, reality hit really fast. Like that's why I was like, all right, I'm gonna just go to Rick. Like Rick's not that expensive and it has what I want, so like it's best of both worlds. But yeah, reality hit it fast. I couldn't believe the price tags that I was seeing. Like I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to this school, and then once I seen, I was like, I don't know if I can do that. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And a lot, I feel like that process in and of itself can sometimes get you down on yourself or lose motivation. So when all that was happening, how did you still stay motivated in applying to schools and pursuing higher ed?
well, during that process, like I still stayed motivated because I always told myself it doesn't matter where you go. It's school is school, and like no matter where you go for your education, you will still be just as great as the next person that goes to whatever
Mm-hmm.
school it is. So like I always just told myself that, so I didn't let it get to my head too much. I was just like, all right, it's reality. It is what it is. Like as long as I get my education and do the program that I actually want, like that's all that matters to me.
Yeah, definitely. Beautiful advice. And so with that, I want to talk about kind of like next steps and recommendations for the future as far as like colleges and institutions or just folks in higher education. And so, based on the experiences that you've had in your first semester, what are some things you believe first gen students need to know in order to succeed?
I believe that they should know their strengths and weaknesses. Because I
Mm-hmm.
feel like if you know your strengths and weaknesses when it comes to college, like, and or your education in general, I feel like that will help you succeed more. Because in order to be a successful student, I feel like you have to recognize what you have and what you don't have. Because I feel like if you don't recognize that, how are you going to move forward and become a better person and a better student? So
Mm-hmm.
that's something I learned this semester a lot. Was I learned what I'm good at, and I'm learning what I still need to work on, and I'm doing that as we speak right now. So like I feel like it's only gonna make me better of a person in the end.
Period. And so, what was that process like confronting your weaknesses and engaging in that like reflection and introspection? Like, how was that for you?
It was hard because at first I'm like, I knew I had those weaknesses, but it didn't really hit me until I got to college.
Yeah.
I was like, one of my weaknesses right now is my studying skills. Like I know how to study, but like it's so different for every single class, and like I'm
Yep.
still learning how to approach each class and how like the professor sets up the class.
Yep.
So like I knew I always needed to work on that. I recognized that in high school, but like now that I'm in
Mm-hmm.
college, I'm like, wow, like I'm literally still figuring it out. And I'm probably
Yeah.
figuring it out as time goes on. So like yeah, like it was hard at first, and I was just like, wow, this is really something I got to work on. But I just keep trying and trying
Right.
every day.
That is so true, especially the point about like different classes you have to study differently. Like
Yes.
for my I remember like for my bio class, like I had to print out a picture of the brain and then I had to color on the brain to mark how the blood flows. But like it would be so different for like my
Mhm.
anthropology class or like my sociology class because I would study different or my communication class. And so in high school I was similar in that I didn't know how to study. And maybe it was not so much that I didn't know how to study, but I was studying the wrong way, maybe.
Yeah.
And so you definitely pick up on your studying skills as you go as you go to college and get into the knack of different methods and maybe you study with a group, maybe you study by yourself, maybe some people say like if you study in the classroom that you take the test in, like like psychologically or something like this, something
Mhm.
like that. I don't know, that wasn't my major. But like psychologically that makes you do better. That makes you do better. Chewing gum, like chewing the same type of gum you chewed when you were studying as you take the test. I don't know. There's different types.
Yeah, I've heard.
There's different types of studying methods, and believe me when I tell you, I've tried all kinds. um, but like, yeah, it's so true. Like I didn't even think about it like that. Like different classes will require you to study differently.
Yeah, when I realized that I was like, because in high school I studied like the same kind of for every class, like, and
Mm-hmm.
or I didn't really have to study that much. So
Right.
when I got to college, reality hit fast. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, like you said, there's no right way to studying. It's literally
Mm-hmm.
everyone does things differently. One way works better for somebody else, so like you literally have to figure it out what works best for you.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that just gave me flashbacks. That is hilarious. Um, so you talked about your weaknesses in studying. What are some of your strengths?
My strengths, well, one thing is I know is I can stay on top of an assignment. I I can get like if there's a due date, I most likely have it done way before the due date even comes. Like that's just me. Like I'm very organized. So like I can stay on top of all my assignments throughout the week. I haven't fell behind yet, thank God. And yeah, like I'm that's one of my strengths is my organization skills. That's one thing I can do really, really good.
And what do you do to stay organized? Like, Google Calendar. There's agendas and calendars and stuff like that. What
Yeah.
advice could you give to our current like high school students on how to stay organized, and even
Uh,
our college students?
as like as a new week approaches, like I go through like my due dates of assignments, like because we use a couple like online platforms, so like the due dates are on there. So like I just go through the due dates, write them down. Like this is due this day, this is due that day, and like each day of the week, I literally do a couple assignments at a time, building up towards the due date. So that way, I'm not leaving everything for the last minute, and it's actually been helping me a lot so far. Like, and it's been working. That's what I've been doing since the semester started. So yeah, that's one way of how I do it, and I've liked it so far.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Definitely, like Lexon said, being proactive. Like, clearly, you're being responsible with your freedom because using your free time, actively, that will bring you a long way.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. I have one more question, and then I want to open it up to anybody else to ask you questions. So
Okay.
I'll ask my final question, and then we'll open the floor. But what can institutions or people in higher ed, even Rhode Island College more specifically, do to support you as a first gen student of color?
I feel like colleges and even Rick themselves can open more programs up to first gen students, like specifically targeting us, so that way when we do step into college as first gen students and first year, we feel comfortable. Like, yeah, there's plenty of programs that you can get involved in on campus, but like I feel like if you have a program targeting first gen students specifically, it might make them want to get more involved on the campus. It might make them feel more comfortable in their classes and make them want to
Mhm.
excel more as a student.
Yeah, definitely. And are there any first generation support groups on your campus?
Not to my knowledge, I don't think so.
I just gave you an idea. Period. Thank you so much. Thank
You're
you for dealing with my goofiness. But I would now like to open the floor up to anyone on the live that has any questions for Essence, um, as it relates to anything that we talked about, her first gen identity, um, anything. The floor is open. For and earlier I realized I said medical engineer. It's a medical imaging. It's medical imaging. So what would you be called then? A medical imager or like a
I'll be called, since I want to concentrate in ultrasound, I will be called the ultrasound technician. So,
Got you, got you.
yeah.
Okay.
But like the overall thing is medical imaging.
Got you. Someone asked who was your favorite cousin.
That's my cousin.
Now you got family on the call. Luxon asked, how have your friends on campus supported your first gen success on campus?
The few friends that I do have, like, because I know a few people that go to Rick, they've been very supportive because my few friends that I do have at Rick are first gen themselves. So like we kind of support each other in a way. So like, yeah, we just support each other and push each other to only go further.
I'm not bringing that home. He wants it. I'm not bringing that home.
What do y'all do to support each other? Are you involved in like extracurriculars, or do y'all have like study dates, or stress with one another?
I personally haven't got involved into extracurriculars because I feel like I'm not ready to do that just yet. Like I'm still getting used to everything. But like one way we support each other is like we just help, like if we have questions about a class or like we feel like this is hard or whatever, we just talk to each other because I have their numbers. So we just communicate with each other and help each other out, like be each other's support systems.
Yeah, beautiful. Emily asks, oh, I think that's one of my juniors. Hey, Emily. Okay, I'm sorry. Have you thought about creating a first gen club at Rick?
Not until today. I think I will now.
Well, you know you got our support.
Yes.
You know you got us at CV. Yeah, definitely. Because if there is not a space at Rick, they need to have a space. And as colleges and universities are deeming themselves like first gen forward, they need to have these spaces for their first generation students.
Yes.
And so when you do have the time, think about it. We have another question. How do you stay balanced when you feel overwhelmed?
I tend to like when I start to feel overwhelmed with schoolwork, like when I feel like it's a lot of studying or homework going on, I take breaks because I feel like the breaks are what helps me keep me balanced. Because I feel like if I just keep going with no break in between, like I just get burnt out in a way. So one thing I do to keep that balance is just take the breaks, like as much as I need. Like it doesn't matter. Like if I need the break, I'm gonna take the break, and like that's just how I stay balanced.
Yeah, breaks are so important.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lexington period. They're so important. Like there was one time sophomore year that I worked myself so much that physically, like my body almost gave up on me. And then I was telling my mom about the experience, and she was like, "You are not Superwoman." And I think sometimes we need to hear that. Like,
Yeah.
relax, calm down, center yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe not every night you should be staying up pulling all nighters.
Yeah.
Get your sleep. Like, and do it again in the morning. Like, start a brand new day. And so I think especially as first gen students in particular, we think we have to push ourselves, like always have to be on go. And so we need those breaks. Yeah, if you don't pause to take care of yourself, your body will force you to pause. Exactly.
And I feel like if you don't take the breaks and like when you need it most, I feel like it eventually will start showing in your academics. Because you're gonna be so burnt out that you're not gonna want to do your homework. You're not gonna be passing the test like you should be. Like it will just eventually start showing itself, and that's when a reality check will need to be set in.
Exactly. We have another question. What advice do you have for 12th graders currently going through the college process?
One thing I would say is take it easy on yourself. Like take it easy, because I feel like especially being first gen, if you put all the pressure on your back, like you'll just make the process a lot harder than what it really is. like I said before, CV was a huge help. So like with CV helping me, it did lift a lot of weight off of my shoulders. But like at the same time, yes, CV was a big help for me. But if you're adding the extra weight of like, oh, you gotta do this by this, then it's only gonna make it worse on you. So like, just take it easy on yourself, one day at a time, and it'll be okay in the end.
Yeah, give yourself grace, definitely.
Mhm.
Alexin asks, do you feel like you have a mentor on campus you can go to for help and support?
Um, I don't think so just yet. So, I don't think I have a mentor just yet that I can personally go to. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't really think so. I have one just yet because I'm still learning everything as I go right now, and it's
Mm-hmm.
first semester is not over just yet. So
Yeah,
I still have plenty of time to go to figure that out.
definitely. And as you start to know, like, your academic advisors and maybe people in um, like multicultural student affairs, or other faculty, or other parts of the administration, you'll definitely begin to um, gain mentors. And
Mhm.
not even specifically in administration, but even upperclassmen. Like my freshman year, a lot of the seniors functioned as my mentors because they had 4 years under their belt. Like they kind of like been there, done that. And so um, a lot of those seniors that I met my freshman year are still really good mentors to me to this day. So it doesn't even have to be like faculty, staff, admin. It could be your peers. Yeah. Any final questions? I feel like this time went by so fast. Okay. If not, thank you so much, Essence, for joining us today to celebrate First Gen Day. Thank you for sharing your experiences and just being open to talk with us and to celebrate with us. Good luck on the rest of your semester and obviously the rest of the year. And you have CV.
Yes. Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. If you go to our College Vision PVD page, we did post about us raising $9,000 this week to directly support our students. And so we would love for you all to give in whatever capacity that you can to directly support the students that we work with. So again, thank you all for tuning in. If you are in Providence and would like to see the documentary screening of Personal Statement, we'll be at Providence Public Library this Wednesday from 5 to 7 p.m. You do have to RSVP. The RSVP link is in our bio. And so come out to our second event, a part of First Gen Week. All right, Essence like, bye, girl. Thank y'all so much. Bye, Essence.
You're welcome. Thank you.
See ya.